Problem is, all that became habit forming. And you know, at a United Methodist meeting, I was asked by a United Methodist scholar, a professor at a university, I think in Michigan, whether there were other incidents like Sand Creek perpetrated by, you know, white invaders against Indian people. And this is a scholar. That person should know this history. How can they ask a question like that? My answer was virtually every incident of military encounter between the invaders and Indian people, from Wessagusset in Massachusetts, from Plymouth, from Mystic, from Jamestown, virtually every incident was a preemptive war perpetrated by the invaders. Now, when I say we forget that history and live in absolute denial, remember the hue and cry in March of 2003, before we actually invaded Iraq? All the liberals in the United States were saying, we can't engage in preemptive war. The United States has never done that before. Oh? Oh? Virtually every war has been that way. The Pequots didn't instigate the war with the Puritan band under the leadership of Captain John Underhill and Captain John Mason. That was fomented as a political act by the governor of Massachusetts, because he was embroiled in a political controversy and wanted to distract people from paying attention to the political pressure being put on him by one Anne Hutchison. Yeah. All these things have a very complex history that we need to know. We need to know that what we did in Iraq is exactly the way the United States acts in preemptive war making. We can't change it unless we know that's the case. And if we're going to be about healing Indian and white, black, brown, yellow, other people on this continent, we have to know this history to avoid the mistake first articulated by George Santayana 100 years ago. Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. And Sand Creek has been repeated in my lifetime. It's been repeated at My Lai in Vietnam. It's been repeated at Abu Ghraib in Iraq. It gets repeated time and time again in incidents we barely hear about in Iraq and Afghanistan. We've got to put our heads together to do something different. And we can't do something different if we engage in denial over against, you know, that long history of violence, preemptive war making. Kakuna.
To your honor roll of Did Wine Coop and Silas Soul, and some who objected, I'd like to add the name of a woman I hope you all know about, one Helen Hunt Jackson, who looked at Sand Creek and wrote a book called A Century of Dishonor, a Bringing to Light, and hopes for change in the attitude. And I know what we're hearing from you is hard to hear, and some of us react to it. But I think it's something we need to try to keep an open mind on and hear. But there is hope for redemption. I was talking to Jerry Green, one of the great scholars who worked on the Sand Creek battlefield, and he told me in his searches he has come across a testimony from Ned Wynkoop's son, who had reason to go see the county coroner here in Denver, one John Milton Shivington. And he said as he got there, Shivington was an old man, and he's told me, and he's can document this, that Shivington leaned over to Ned Wynkoop's son and said, "You know, your dad was right about Sand Creek."
Wellington Webb, after he was out of the mayor's office, told me the American Indian movement of Colorado was right about Columbus Day. It's a little too late.
Hello, my name is Thierry. I'm not from here. I don't know about all these histories and the stories and the pain in the background. I just stumbled into this event by chance. I'm visiting your city, and I want to share my respect with what you're doing here. It's so needed. I would wish my country would do that with our own issues. Yeah. And I want to talk about the healing in the background that is so much needed. That really touched me. That's a lesson I'm going to take on my path. This is not only about extinction and assimilation we're doing to others. It's what we white people are doing to ourselves. While losing our co-humans, we are losing ourselves, and we're losing our dreaming. We're losing the stewardship for land, how to deal with this planet. And I would just wish that this discussion goes on. I feel a lot of diverse polarities in the room. I feel a lot of tension, but this has to come out. If we don't do this, we will go nowhere, and the pain will kill us. So thank you for doing this.
And they're way ahead of this country. They're way ahead of this country. And I think about this because there's a book, it's a compilation of a series of truth commissions around the world. In places like South Africa and Guatemala, East Timor, Argentina, where there have been horrific genocides. And every time I pick up that book called Unspeakable Truths, I say, why not here? Where's our Truth Commission? Where's our truth and reconciliation process? Where's the president? Where's Congress? Because I've come to the conclusion that it's not just truth and reconciliation. I've concluded that there are four steps in that process. Truth, justice, reconciliation, and then peace. And if you work backwards, there can't be peace without reconciliation. There cannot be reconciliation without justice, and there cannot be justice without truth-telling. That's why I'm so thankful to Craig, to the Denver Public Library, to the panelists here, for starting this process. This is the beginning. This may be the beginning of a process. This is not the end point of a process. That's what we know in a circle. That's why we sit in a circle. And so, and as you were speaking, I was reminded this week is Earth Week. Earth Week, Earth Day. Do we want to take a lesson from the Cheyennes and Arapahoes and the lesson of Sand Creek? All those people, and I really apologize. There's so many men up here. Earth Week. What the Cheyennes and Arapahoes said was this place is big enough to share.